Over the weekend, while most people were still half asleep on Saturday morning, the United States launched strikes in Venezuela that ended with Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, being captured and removed from the country. Within hours, comedians were already doing what comedians do best, trying to make sense of chaos before the official story had even settled. Two of the sharpest responses came from Godfrey and D.L. Hughley, and while their styles couldn't be more different, they were ultimately circling the same uncomfortable truth. Godfrey's reaction came wrapped in an impression of Donald Trump, and it was classic Godfrey, exaggerated, musical, and deceptively smart.
So we've taken over Venezuela. We've taken it over now. We've gotten rid of Maduro. I think it means plantain. I don't know. From the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. I'm from New York, so I know Maduro. But it is bananas right now. So we took it over. We're going to fix the infrastructure for the Venezuelans. And we're going to take all the oil that we're going to steal. That we're going to take the oil and fix the infrastructure for the people of Venezuela. Muy bien. Muy bien. It's going to be fantastic. We've finally gotten rid of that horrible leader. He's so bad. He's so terrible.
But underneath the silliness, Godfrey makes a sharp point. Trump keeps talking about fixing infrastructure and helping Venezuela rebuild, but Godfrey frames it as code. The words say help. The subtext says oil.
Listen, this whole thing of kidnapping Maduro, first of all, this is what I feel, because this has always happened. This is the same shit that's been happening for years, right? America comes in and takes over a regime because of a horrible president or a horrible prime minister or whatever the fuck. This is the same game, different players. You understand? Maduro and my friend, who is a comedian, Francisco Ramos, he's from Venezuela. I talked to him. That's why I make sure I get some information. I said, is Maduro a terrible person? He's like, oh yeah, he's a horrible dictating motherfucker. I said, wow, okay. So now, they got rid of him and the people are celebrating in the streets because they think there's going to be a new regime. But this is what I think. They're going to put another fucking puppet in there. A lot of times these motherfuckers are run by other powers, man. That's why when Trump is talking, he's talking in code. We're going to fix the infrastructure. We're going to fix it and the oil. It's always about resources. Always about resources. So if they kidnap Maduro, I don't know where the fuck they put him. They said, we're done with you, man. Thanks for selling out your people. Beat it. That's what they do, especially brown people. I mean, they are all up in South America doing what they're doing. It's like re-gangstering shit again. That's what the fuck is going on.
In his telling, Venezuela isn't being rescued, it's being acquired. D.L. Hughley comes at the situation with far less playfulness and a lot more anger. Where Godfrey uses humor to sneak the message in, Hughley puts it right on the table. He questions how a president can launch strikes, capture a foreign leader, and reshape another country's future without real oversight or consequences. For Hughley, the issue isn't just Venezuela. It's how easily power gets used when no one pushes back.
So, Donald Trump is bombing Venezuela without congressional approval. He's taking it upon his own. He hasn't proved his case. He's decided, I can do what I want because I have the mightiest military in the world. He's attacked a foreign country without congressional approval, without proving his case at all, and captured its president. He has attacked an African country under the auspices that allegedly there were atrocities committed against Christians there. Now, ironically, those very Christians that he bombed to save, he won't allow in this country. The very people that he killed to save, allegedly will be willing to kill to save, won't let enter this country to save them. All of those people who voted for this man because they thought there'd be an end to wars. You're wrong. Because you thought the economy would be better. You're wrong. But now, instead of being as loud as you used to be, you're quiet. You're quiet. You sit there and you pretend like you don't see what's happening. This man is doing exactly what he wants. And when you had military leaders telling U.S. servicemen that they didn't have to follow illegal orders. Now you see why. This will not stop here. He's going to do whatever he wants because the people who support him will say and do nothing.
One of Hughley's strongest points is the contradiction at the heart of it all. The U.S. claims to intervene to save people from violence and corruption, yet turns around and shuts its doors to refugees fleeing that very instability. He highlights the hypocrisy of telling people to fix their own country while repeatedly helping to break those countries in the first place.
There's no need for moral conflict. It's pretty clear. You cannot, as a nation, tell other people that they can't leave a nation like a Venezuela that is so unstable and so politically corrupt and rife with drugs and crime. And people who flee that to come here, you can't say you're not allowed to come here. You can't say things like people are famous for saying, like, fix your own country. They can't come here because, of all the situations you use to bomb them, but they're not allowed to flee that. And then this country will decide who their leaders will be. We will run that country, and we're so shitty at running ours. We're horrible at picking leaders, but we're going to pick other people's leaders. And obviously, we want to pick a leader that is compliant and obedient to us. How do you think that will play with his people? How did it play in Iran or any number of places we tried this before? Regardless of what those people are, they have a right to self-determine. They have a right to self-govern. You said here that many people on the right, all of these podcasters, let them fix their own countries. And then in the same breath say, we'll fix it for them. We'll kidnap their leaders. We'll put people in position that will do our bidding. And we'll call that democracy. We have decided the fate of somebody else's country. And those same people who you say are suffering under the yoke of this man, of this repressive, violent, drug-addled regime, you won't allow to come here.
Then he connects it to something even darker. Hughley suggests that sudden, dramatic foreign actions conveniently pull attention away from unresolved scandals at home. He draws a sharp contrast between how quickly Maduro was captured and how slowly issues like the Epstein files have moved, implying that war and spectacle are useful distractions when powerful people don't want scrutiny.
There's certainly more evidence in the Epstein files that have been released to date, not the million that they're still going through. There's more evidence that people in those files committed crime that impacted people that were in the United States. There's way more evidence in those files than anything they presented as a pretext to bomb a foreign country and kidnap its leader. I said this before. There will be a lot of black and brown people who will die just because this dude hung out with a pedophile. Just because this dude is credibly associated with a deviant. There will be so many things that happen. Bombings in Nigeria, taking over Venezuela, blowing up, having war with Iran. All of this because these people do not want to admit that the President of the United States of America was credibly associated with.
What's striking is that Godfrey and Hughley arrive at similar conclusions using opposite tools. Godfrey laughs at the absurdity of it all, exposing the greed beneath the slogans through parody. Hughley strips the humor away and forces the audience to sit with the moral cost. One sounds like a stand-up riff, the other sounds like a warning. Together, their reactions underline the same uncomfortable idea. When the language of help and freedom shows up alongside oil interests, military force, and closed borders, it's worth paying attention. Comedy, in this case, isn't just reacting to the news, it's translating it. And maybe that's why these responses resonate. When politics starts to feel surreal, comedians end up acting like translators, breaking down what's happening in plain terms. Godfrey shows how ridiculous the sales pitch sounds when you exaggerate it. Hughley shows how dangerous it is when you don't. Different tones, same message. This wasn't just about Venezuela. It never is.